What is up, guys, and welcome to another special episode of Guarani Vision, the first ever podcast dedicated to Paraguayan football in English. As always, I'm Roberto Rojas, and joining me are my two great co-hosts, Perez and Ralph Hanna. And today, as we are here to talk about, obviously, a huge matchup happening on Thursday, the big World Cup qualifiers, as we are back in international mode. You could tell from the shirts that all of us are wearing, the Albi-Roja, as we get into this big game against traditionally known as the classic rival of Paraguay against Argentina at the Defensores. And for us to talk about it, we have Santi Bauza of Hand Up Pod and TNT Sports Argentina to give an outlook of the Avi Celeste as they head into this good game that surely will have a lot of precedents heading into really a really big game over there on Thursday. So let's get Santi in here. Santi, I'll start off real quick and ask, how have you been feeling of this Argentina squad? You know, just a couple of months now removed from winning their first Copa America title since 1993, the first one under Lionel Messi's basically time here at the national team. They're still on a good unbeaten streak of 22 games under Scaloni. So I just want your thoughts on how you are viewing this Argentina side heading into World Cup qualifications and for this game against Paraguay on Thursday.
Well, first off, thank you for having me, guys. Yeah, I mean, I think the vibes are like really positive at this moment in Argentina, around the squad, around this group of players. There's like such huge positivity around the team at the moment. I mean, you can certainly attribute that to, you know, winning the Copa America, this Copa America for the first time in such a long time. But I mean, you can feel that these players genuinely feel the love of their fans, and the last game against Bolivia at the Monumental in Buenos Aires, I think that was truly a testament of that. There was the celebration, the Copa America celebration. We were robbed off because of COVID, and you could definitely see the connection that was felt between the fans and the players, and how everyone felt around Messi finally achieving this tournament and his role in it, which despite him, you know, not having a Messi game in the final, you can clearly tell that the reason Argentina went all the way in that Copa America was mostly him. But you can also sense a group of players that are not, you know, blinded by Messi's light and can actually bring him down to earth. They can play to his strengths. They can help him instead of just giving him the ball and making him deal with everything. You can clearly see how this group of players have adapted to Messi, to play for him and to play in a better, more adapted role, in this new role that he's got, mostly around you know, more of a playmaker instead of a you know, this really incredible dribbler and goal scorer from like 10 years ago. So you can see that Scaloni has also barely changed the squad in the last 3 or 4 qualifiers. You can see that 2 or 3 players have come and gone. For example, Buendia has been, you know, kind of a regular fixture, but hasn't yet made his bow for Argentina. So you can see that there's like a huge contingent around the champions, the champions of South America, that's been very consistent in the last 4 or 5 call-ups. This is a very tight-knit group, and one that's got everyone's fan, Argentina fan, I think, in their hearts. I think it's a really great time to be an Argentina fan at the moment.
Santi, this just sounds so positive, and this isn't something we usually put together with Argentina. That's always had a good team, but have often struggled with the relationships of players, the media, the manager. I'm thinking, for example, Sampaoli, which ended up being a disaster in the World Cup. What do you think Scaloni's done differently to previous managers? Because Scaloni's coming is very inexperienced, really, as a coach. Unlike, say, Tata Martino, Pato Bauza, I'm trying to think of some recent coaches. Sabella obviously did well. But what Scaloni managed to do that maybe those more experienced managers weren't able to do to build this kind of spirit you're talking about?
Yeah, I think Scaloni's biggest strength, even when he was heavily criticized in his first year in charge because of the fact that he had no experience whatsoever in management, which is, of course, something really, really odd for a national manager, especially one taking charge of a country like Argentina. I think that those criticisms may be justified then, but I don't think they're justified now at this moment because, so much has changed. He's already 3 years into his managerial career and he's got to these levels of success. But I think the main aspect that you could put Sampaoli ahead of, some torrid terms like Bauzas and Sampaoli's is the fact that Scaloni has been brave enough to ensure a new generation of players. A generation that was overdue, that Bauza and Sampaoli didn't dare to put forward. For example, when you can see in the example that Sampaoli did not take Lautaro Martinez and gave Lo Celso 0 minutes in Russia. And now you can see that Lautaro Martinez and Lo Celso are like some of the most important players in this national team. Scaloni has also trusted some players that were probably off radar or not in the hearts and minds of Argentina fans, and has given them their his confidence, and they have been proven. He's been proven completely right. You can see it in the examples, of course, of Emi Martinez, Guti Romero, and Rodrigo de Paul. Which, lest we forget, he was not exactly a national team starter, a surefire starter back in the 2019 Copa America. And now he's like the most important midfielder in the Argentina squad. You can see it in Nico Gonzalez as well, who's become a really key part of the rotation of the team. He's also given even some veterans that have been banging on the national team door for a long while, like Papu Gomez, a chance. He's even rekindled the international careers of players that were in the past derided by fans like Otamendi and especially Di Maria, who's definitely turned their fortunes around. I think the confidence that he gave those players that were probably overlooked or even, as I said before, derided by the press and the fans, and the fact that he's been proven right by going all the way in this Copa America and even performing above expectations in the 2019 Copa America, which I think that's what happened. It's been a really steady progress. He's faced some resistance, less so from fans in the last few months, but I think he still faces some resistance from the media, which I think has generated a backlash from the fans against the media in that sense, in the middle of the Copa America, no less. But he's been also like very, very straight about his call-ups and the way he conducts himself, especially in comparison with Bauza, who was a little arrogant, and Sampaoli, who was just straight out chaotic in the way he handled himself everywhere. That's why he's like really, really hated by Argentina fans. So I think above all, it's just the fact that he's put forward this transition and this changing of the guard that his predecessors didn't dare to do in the right time.
And switching focus to the game itself against Paraguay, Argentina don't have a great record in Asunción recently. Roberto's put it up here in the chat for us, and it's one win in the last 5 home World Cup qualifiers. And I remember that win was against a very depleted Paraguay team. They had an interim coach. I think we were already out of the World Cup by the time we played. So with that in mind, and looking that we have this strange situation of the triple header, and this is Argentina's only away game of this triple header. After this, they have 2 home matches against Uruguay and Peru. How do you think they're going to set up coming to Asunción? Would they be happy to settle with a point, see what Paraguay can do, and if Paraguay aren't able to break them down, go back to Buenos Aires with a point? Or you think they're coming to go all out for a win?
I don't think so. I mean, it is. I mean, you're right when you say that Paraguay has become something of a bogey team for Argentina, at least in Asunción. They've had it rough in several games. I think last time I think it was under Bauza, if I'm not mistaken. No, wait, it was 2015, so it was probably under Martino. But yeah, I'm probably getting messed up with the home game, which I think we lost 2-0, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I mean, I think Paraguay has become something of a bogey team for Argentina. But I think that Argentina are probably in a very, very, very different situation than they were 6 years ago. I think this team is not only much more cohesive and stronger in certain areas, but also he has something of I mean, with the Copa America win, there also comes something of like pressure to not just keep this unbeaten run, but also, you know, go out there and prove that you're still, you know, the Copa America champions. So considering that and the fact that the Argentina have such a young squad, aside from, of course, the leaders of the dressing room, like, you know, Messi and Di Maria and Otamendi and Papu Gomez, the Copa America win felt more like a start of something instead of like the culmination of the careers of you know, this veteran players. So there's something like hunger to get to Qatar in the best possible form, as strong as you can possibly get there. So I think Argentina will probably try to, you know, do what Scaloni's team generally does in this kind of games, which is try to, you know, dominate the first half hour of the first half of the game and try to get something in those first 45 minutes and then try to see out the game in the second half. So I think that's going to be the case. Maybe they will regulate a little bit more because of, you know, the difficult conditions that Argentina tends to face in the Defensores del Chaco. But I think that's generally what we're going to see, because I mean, this would be Argentina playing to their strengths. These are their strengths. They are good with the ball on their feet and trying to create chances by opening up spaces. So I think that's what they're trying to do.
Well, we want to take that smile off your face, Santi. We're envying you right now, champions of that Copa America. But before saying anything else, congratulations for that title to you and all the Argentinian people. But what is this team lacking? I mean, where do you see this team going from here on out? And especially, you know, we're facing Europe now. So where's this team still weak? I remember that back in the days, it was about the defense, but even now it looks stable back there. Your goalkeeper is also one of your stars in the locker room. I mean, where is this team weak, or is it just 100% right now? Where do you see it?
Look, during the Copa America, I would have told you that the team's biggest weakness was Nicolas Otamendi. Because he was like not in the best form. He was very, very slow in the build-up. He was, you know, he was good in one-on-one duels, aerial duels, but he was not the best when he was pressured. I think he's turned his form around, not just in the Copa America with that performance in the final, but also in his first few games for Benfica. I think he's been, you know, going leaps and bounds in comparison to his final season at Manchester City and his first in Benfica, which was a little rough, I would say. But yeah, I think the fact that Argentina have improved defensively because he was paired with Cuti Romero, who I think he pretty much balances his weaknesses. He balances Otamendi's weaknesses. I still think that if you press him enough, with the ball in his feet, you can actually get something, because I mean, he's not exactly the best. He's not the most technical center back. I think that's probably why he didn't succeed exactly under Pep Guardiola. So I think if you press him enough, he can, you know, hoof the ball away and you can get a throw in, and then you can, you know, start attacks in that sense. I think that's probably the weakness. And the other one is the fact that Argentina tends to play with very, very attacking fullbacks. in either Montiel or Molina Lucero on the right, and Marcos Acuna on the left. They are like very, very good in their attacking prowess, in their attacking end product, but they tend to leave a lot of spaces when Argentina are in transition, which I think that was a little as something that Brazil tried to capitalize in the final. They tried to hoof a couple long balls to Acuna, and in those chances they almost score. One of them was offside, and the other one was a brilliant save from Martinez. Something that then Scaloni was smart enough to fix by sending Nico Tagliafico in to play as a third centre back. So I think there's both Otamendi on the ball, and then the two fullbacks leaving too much space in behind.
I got two more questions for you, Santi. I'm going to put them together, and so you can just answer me. We've talked about this actually, the last year many times about what happened with the Romero twins in Argentina, in San Lorenzo. They don't have a club right now. They're only playing for the national team. Obviously, the money was an issue also, but a lot of things happen in that locker room. I want to get your take on what Argentinian people think now of the Romero twins, and if you actually think that the door is still open for them to actually go and play back there again eventually. I mean, Oscar has played in several teams there. Angel was the first time in Argentina, but they're very well known over there. And the other question has to do with Messi. A lot of people are going here to the stadium because Messi's coming. And a lot of people are also thinking that it could be the last time that you're going to see Messi here in Defensores del Chaco in the qualifiers to the World Cup. What do you think about that? Is it the last time that people are going to get to see Messi here?
Those are very good. Those are very good questions. First off, about the Romero twins. I mean, safe to say they are very, very controversial here in Argentina. It's something I've been, talking about with Roberto a lot. Even between San Lorenzo fans, they are like very, very divided in the sense that they were clearly the two most talented players in the squad. But there's just been so much vitriol, not just from the press, but also some of their former teammates, about how their kind of conflicted personalities and their ego and the benefits they would get ahead of some of the members of the squad. One of the more crazy allegations was that made by a former San Lorenzo player, Nacho Piatti, who said that they gave away 15,000 pesos to all the squad players for every win, which is some crazy stuff. But anyway, I don't think I would say that the doors are probably closed for them in San Lorenzo because of all the bad blood that happened from there. But they had been rumored at one point for them to sign for Boca. I think that would depend on what's their situation regarding their foreign players in their squads. But I think considering Boca have been kind of a safe haven for those kind of divisive players, but who are very talented but not exactly very consistent. You can see that with the Colombian base of players that they have right now. Boca could be the kind of club that would welcome them, especially also in economic terms. They would probably match what they are asking for. But yeah, I think it's going to be difficult for them to play in Argentina because of that, because most clubs are probably not in the economic conditions for them to sign for them. So yeah, unless Boca find a way around their foreign players in their squad, I don't see them coming back to Argentina. So moving to the Messi question, it's a good question. I think it will depend on what happens with Messi in regards to the World Cup in Qatar, and how he feels about himself, and whether he feels he can still contribute to the team and to the squad, and what role he wants to play. Because I mean, we all know how Messi wants to play every single game. I mean, the last couple of weeks have proven us how he doesn't like being taken off. Even in the Copa America, there was the rumor that he could sit off the game against Bolivia, and he played the full 90 minutes anyway, or even scored a goal. So I mean, I think it will depend on how Messi feels, physically, and how much he can contribute to the team by the time the Qatar World Cup ends.
Santi, to close it off here, I think more importantly, I do want your take, and I think it's very interesting of what you've been given of Argentina for this game. But obviously, as you look, historically, as we had mentioned, 2 wins, 3 losses, 4 draws for Paraguay against Argentina at home. It only took them actually 16 years ago to get their first ever win against them in a competitive game. So because I think of obviously the amount of Argentines that have come to Paraguay and vice versa, the huge cultural, you would say, similarities between the two countries. As we say, we view Argentina as the classic rival of the Roja. But I want your take and your perception of what Paraguay is, you viewing these games, the players that they have. How do you assess this Paraguay squad heading into this game on Thursday, and just your overall opinion on it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tricky question, because I think Paraguay have been kind of not in the best form lately. From what I've seen, I mean, I think it was this last win that they could probably save Berizzo's job, at least in the short term. Yeah, I mean, I know that Paraguay have been kind of a bogey team for Argentina, but that also coincided with one of the best generations of Paraguayan players ever, probably 10 years ago, something like that. I think that talent has probably dried out a bit in the last few years. You can see, some quality players there. Miguel Almirón, of course, being the pick of the bunch. That's the one that could possibly cause a lot of problems for Argentina. Avalos is also a good striker. He's got in a very traditional Paraguayan sense, he's got such good. He's so good in the air. They're also very strong in the center back position, I think. But I feel like Argentina should have enough quality and enough talent and enough, hunger to their midfield has become kind of the linchpin of the team. The way they work in tandem, and the fact that they are very fluid in their shape. They can play in a 4, they can play in a 3. I think they should have enough to win that midfield battle, which I think will be crucial. And I mean, not to sound arrogant or anything, but I think Argentina should win this game. Even if it won't be easy, because I mean, it's never easy for us in the Defensor del Chaco, but I think Argentina should have enough to win this game.
Well, it's good that you had mentioned that, because I think to close it off here, and thank you again, Santi, for coming on. But what is ultimately your prediction for this game on Thursday?
I hate game predictions. I really do. But since you asked for it, I think it's going to be 2-1 for us. We will score our 2 goals in the first 45 minutes, and then we will try to see it off. We will concede in the 75th, and then it's going to be a really, really nervy for the final 15 minutes, but we will hold on to the win, and that's going to be it for me.
Well, at least you're confident on that, and then that's all that matters here. But Santi, before we let you go, and thank you again for coming on, where can everyone find your work, and where can people follow you, and all those kind of things?
Cool. So you can follow me on Twitter. That's where I'm most active, at Santi_Bauza. You can also follow the Hand of Pod Twitter account, where I feature regularly. Now that I have this TNT job, I'm not featuring as regularly as I would like to, but when we record on Wednesdays, I tend to show up, so you can listen to me there, or you can follow me on Twitter, as I said before.
Excellent stuff. So Another great episode featuring Argentina heading into this game against Paraguay on Thursday. For myself, Roberto Rojas, for Fede Perez, and for Ralph Hanna, thank you so much for listening in. See you soon.
Thank you for having me, guys.